Hello Reformers, and welcome back to Warsword Conquest and Slythe's Adventures. Now, when we left off, we were being, well, attacked by numerous people, and most notably we were being attacked by the vampires, but I've decided to take a little bit of a different tact here because there was a comment that actually said, "Why am I afraid of the dwarves in Nuln?" Well, I'm actually not afraid of them, it's just there's a lot of them. There's a lot of vassals here. They actually number over 200 units here. And while I would love to take the town, which is what we're going to attempt to do here, just to consolidate our territory, it's probably not going to be the easiest thing to do. Even though the Empire and the dwarves are not necessarily known for their ranged attacks, they are going to be kind of difficult with this kind of layout. I mean, you can see right here that this layout is very tricky. It's very tricky to work with, and that was the primary reason, with the exception of obviously the dwarves being in there, that I didn't really want to go in. So we're going to see how well we do here. Maybe our poisoned wind globadiers will make this a little easier than I anticipate, but I think for the most part it's going to be quite difficult unless my globadiers are able to eliminate most of the archers. Yeah, it seems like they're having a pretty easy time of things right now, which is kind of surprising to me. I actually thought that most of the areas that our globadiers could see were not actually that numerous in terms of the amount of enemy troops there. So it seems like this might actually pay off quite nicely, but the point is that I did not want to fight random dwarves in here when I could be eliminating something else like a castle or something that just has that faction's units inside, because obviously I know now that, yeah, I mean, look at this. So many dwarves just randomly scattered in the garrison here, and I could be fighting someone completely different. Thankfully, they moved over there, and my poisoned wind globadiers will be able to take them out, or at least do some damage to them. I'm gonna take out some people myself. Oh, I'm also gonna get shot massively from up above. Who's up? Who's up there? I don't see anyone. Interesting. Okay. I have no idea. I got shot by some random by the looks of things. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, it seems like that is indeed the case. I got shot by something. Ah, there they are. I see. They're actually up there on the battlements. Well, that explains things a little bit easier then. Right. Well, hopefully my globadiers will be able to do something here as well. I mean, I think they've probably run out of globes now, haven't they? They probably have. Yeah, do you think I can do something with my engineers? Might be able to move those guys a little bit forward here. Some of my globadiers do seem to be still throwing their globes, but I don't think it's going to result in too many kills now, unfortunately. Oh, did you see that? A headshot against a giant slayer, and yet Ignore Pain literally absorbed 106 damage. That is so crazy. Wow. Oh no, it's actually a Demon Slayer. Never mind, not a Giant Slayer, Demon Slayer. Wow, well, I'm not surprised. Not surprised one bit by that. That's pretty crazy. Right, so how many have we eliminated so far? 92. Yeah, it's going to be one of those, isn't it? It's going to be one of those things which we try to do, which is kind of a slog, you know? It's going to be kind of one of those annoying things that takes a long time. Actually, just going to go in here, try and kill as many people as I can before I die. I am probably going to die here, but we're going to try it out anyway and just see maybe if we can... I don't even know. I mean, we don't even have that many infantry. No, we don't have that many infantry. Okay, I'm going to actually try and just retreat normally then. I am going to get eliminated anyway, just from the auto-resolve damage that usually happens. You'll see that on the message when we actually get further away. There we go. There we go. So yes, you are wounded for 13 hit points, and I think I have about 13 hit points, so I'm probably going to be on the casualty report here. Oh no, apparently I'm not. Interesting. Okay. Oh no, I am. There we go. Usually I'm at the end of the casualty report, but this time I was at the top. Okay, well, there you go. 11 deaths from our poisoned wind globadiers. That is nothing. We don't have to worry about that at all, and we eliminated 115 total, so I suppose that's not all bad, but obviously we now need to be a bit careful about retaliations from the Empire, of course. Okay, so, yes, so I sent off Nagrat to see whether the Kislev would be happy with some kind of truce. Let's see whether... Wow. He's literally just outright declining to conclude any kind of peace. Even paying him money would be out of the question. That is amazing. That is really quite amazing. Okay, well, never mind then. Never mind. Okay, so, guess Kislev's not really wanting to conclude peace. I can kind of understand why they're not wanting to do that, because obviously they do have literally no threat. They have no threat from us whatsoever. We have not done anything to warrant that kind of response, because it's not in their best interest, obviously. We have many fiefs that are extremely weak, and they can quite easily take those if they want to, you know. They've already taken that town, and I obviously just took it back, obviously, as well. It was literally garrisoned with about 90 units, very easy to take. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do something a little bit different here to hopefully reduce the amount of casualties that my Poisoned Wind Globadiers are having to suffer through. And let me see if I can do that here. There we go. I mean, there are so many of them in the field right now that that's probably the primary reason why they're getting focused down as much as they are, because they have the longest line in our army at the moment, as far as I can see. Let's see if I can actually eliminate a couple of these guys on top there. Not too bad. A couple of bits of damage. And I'm gonna go up here once again to try and get a couple of kills and everything, and maybe... Are our engineers in good positions? They don't seem to be firing that much. But maybe they just can't see people that much, really. Maybe we need to put them a little bit... Oh, no. No, not this way, you idiots. I did that by mistake, obviously. There we go, there we go. Okay, so we placed them a little bit further back, which is exactly where we want them to be. And maybe I can take out a couple of these guys. Or not, as they move. Oh, there we go. Okay, how many have we killed so far? 60. Yeah, this is very much a war of attrition style, and something I'm not a big fan of, to be honest. I don't really like, you know, retreating, coming back in, retreating, coming back in. I feel like that's kind of annoying, personally. I like just to finish up the battle as quickly as possible, and hopefully I will not... Oh, okay, yes, I am going to die against this Demon Slayer very much easily, and yeah, I guess we're going to have to do a little bit more grinding here. Alright, so we're actually in a very different situation than what we were previously. It's been about maybe 10-15 minutes, and basically I continue to do a little bit of besieging of the town, and it didn't really work out too well. And that's, well, that's kind of what I thought would happen. I mean, that's the reason why I was kind of staying away from it as much as I could, because in general it's just one of those things where you kind of get a feel for this after a little bit of time playing the game, and you kind of think to yourself, yeah, it's definitely not something I want to do right now, and so I kind of put it on a bit of a back burner for the moment. So anyway, the main point that I wanted to make is that I've just left the town. I've left it, and we're going to be returning there at some point in the future, but I was only able to eliminate about 120 extra units from the time that you saw previously, where we were able to eliminate, yeah, about the same number. And the main problem with it is that the layout is just very constrictive for ranged units, and being able to go in there and deal damage, yeah, okay, you know, we can do that with our globadiers and everything, but they only have very small amounts of globes, so it's not gonna really do too much. But anyway, what I've done now is I have come to my town nearby Kislev territory, because I noticed that there were quite a few people nearby here, and I kind of wanted to make sure that we didn't lose the town again. So I thought, okay, you know what, let's just go over there and see what we can do. Maybe we can try and, you know, prevent the town from being taken again. And lo and behold, there was a caravan of ours currently being attacked by 3 Kislev vassals, and these are the vassals that we're currently fighting here. Now hopefully I'm going to be able to do a pretty decent job here. I don't have magic equipped, as is per usual nowadays for some reason. I guess it's just because I've been doing so many sieges that me re-equipping magic every single time is just not something that I'm, you know, it's just, we're doing so many sieges, it's just not viable really to continually re-equip magic over and over and over. So anyway, I'm going to tell my cavalry to charge in now as well, and oh yeah, in the previous episode I actually did forget to show you the new layout that I have kind of, you know, instituted here, and hopefully it's going to be pretty good. And maybe some of you would be quite interested in seeing that as well if you're playing along with me, or, you know, whatever, just for interest's sake. And yeah, maybe you'll want to see that. Anyway, hopefully we're going to be able to survive this. The Ice Maiden over here is being perfectly unassaulted. So, oh no, never mind. Oh, okay. Amazon Mistress, good work. Good work on you. Yes. Okay, so yeah, otherwise, I think we're going to have a pretty easy time here. I mean, these guys only had about 150, but we seem to be having some difficulties with them. Not entirely sure why that would be, considering we have so many. Okay, you know what? I'm actually just going to retreat here so we can see what's going on. Look at that. I lost 11 Poison Wind Globadiers. And we actually cannot even go in now because I ran here straight after the town to try and catch these guys, but it seems like they have 73 remaining. Alright, so we have come in to one of the other vampire towns. Yeah, we're jumping around quite a bit in this episode. Not something that I really like to do most of the time. Yeah, I mean, you know, I like to focus on something in particular. So in other words, focusing on a particular faction or something along those lines. But it seems like the initial siege has kind of thrown everything out of whack, and we are needing to now catch up, because obviously the Empire was not really interfering in our business any further. They seem to have backed off quite a bit, so that was kind of also a reason why I wasn't really focusing on them instead of focusing on the vampires. So I have now realigned our crosshairs, and they are firmly placed on the vampires, and hopefully we will be able to take this town without too many difficulties. Classic layout right here, easy enough for our engineers as well as our globadiers to help us out here. And I think this is going to be pretty easy. We've already eliminated 65, but obviously that's not really anything in the grand scheme of things. We're going to have to do quite a bit more to be able to achieve an ultimate victory here. Now, otherwise, I have to report, I don't know whether you saw that in the text log, but I have to say that Lord Aketi, he got himself taken prisoner again. Oh yes, he certainly did. And he got himself taken prisoner by the orcs, and so we are probably going to try and stage some kind of rescue attempt. And, oh yeah, the orcs also took the other town that we took from the vampires. So we're going to have to do something a little bit different to take that back as well, but it's easy enough. Usually they don't tend to garrison these things with a huge amount of units. And how many infantry do I have? I literally only have 13. You know what? We're going to charge everyone. We're going to charge everyone, and we're going to see what we can do. Oh yes, he swung at the wrong time. Oh, dodge. Ward save, ward save. Are you serious? How many ward saves do you have? Oh my. Okay, well, let's just try and take out this skeletal marksman. And now we do have our infantry coming in here, but bear in mind, these dudes right here, these guys are a little bit too much for our forces, I think, for the most part. Wow, that's a lot of skeletal marksmen. That is a lot of skeletal marksmen over there. Do you see them? I don't know whether you see them, but hopefully we can... Okay, apparently that... Oh, that's the Lord of Blood guy. Ah, right, yes. I actually thought to myself, he seems a bit too strong for a regular unit. Yeah, he finally got himself taken out. But anyway, that was pretty harsh. Pretty harsh. Okay, so we are going to lose quite a few Poison Wind Globadiers here, but I was actually hoping that the Globadiers would be a little bit better in melee combat than the Skeletal Sharpshooters. So I guess we're going to truly find out whether that is actually the case. Because it seems like they are going to have to fight them, well, tooth and nail, basically. They're going to have to fight tooth and nail against them in melee combat. And what? Look at how many units they have here. I really wish we had one... Actually, let's just say, I wish I had 10 Globadiers with globes still in their in their inventory, ready to use. But no, that's not going to happen this time around. This is pretty crazy, though. Look at how many units are actually just tightly packed in there. But I guess this was a good decision. I think this is a good decision to actually, you know, do a little bit of a charge here, you know, because usually when I try to charge in, I usually think that that's a bit too audacious, you know, a little bit too risky, because you don't really want to be charging with a primarily ranged army. But in this case, it seems to be working quite well, because there are not too many heavy infantry units on the enemy side, and it doesn't seem like they have any Hell Knights whatsoever ready for us here, so I'm pretty happy with that. It seems like there is actually one, but he was quickly taken care of. Yes, he was quickly taken care of. Oh well, let's see how this goes. I know that they're probably going to be receiving more reinforcements, but hopefully those reinforcements are not going to be too devastating. Alright, so we have retreated and come back into the town. We eliminated a total of 215 units. We didn't lose that many, we only lost about 30, maybe even 40 units to death. So it's not... I guess it is kind of a pretty serious loss, but most of those units were not really anything that we could not replace pretty easily. So yeah, that's actually okay. Otherwise, I'm basically just going to do the same thing here, and hopefully we'll be able to bombard as many of the enemies as possible, and then we'll be able to go in and rush the battlements again. Oh, there's someone's shield that they threw away there. No refunds, apparently. No refunds going on there. Anyway, let's see if I can do some damage. Do some damage with my ball and chain here. This is a pretty fantastic weapon. As I've said, it's just so fun to use. If only I had more power strike, that would be helping quite a bit. Alright, let's actually tell our people to charge in now. I know it may seem a little bit premature, but we're going to be doing that. And we're going to see if I can maybe... Oh, they seem to be coming back. Oh, interesting, interesting. I actually thought that this was a perfect time to charge in, but it seems like the enemy is deciding to put up a much bigger fight than anticipated. Ah, there we go. They're starting to make some space now for us, which is very nice of them, isn't it? Yes. I mean, they do say that you have to invite a vampire in. Maybe it's the opposite way around for them. Maybe they're just saying, please come in, and you know, that's the only way we could actually get inside. Yes, I'm sure. Anyway, let's see if I can get some kills on these guys. Just gonna use the... I'm actually kind of surprised that we have a Plague Priest right by the side of us here. How did they get in? I have no idea, but they're doing a very nice job themselves. And I'm very much looking forward to taking this, because that will mean that there will be only 3 more vampire fiefs to eliminate, and then we will have the vampires taken out of the game, and then we don't have to worry about them any further. Now, there has been a bit of a discussion in the comments section about Ignore Pain and the dodge skill. And as far as I'm aware, it should work together with dodge. But I have found that dodge has actually not given me any evasions whatsoever. It has not given me anything in regards to that since buying Ignore Pain, so it seems like only one of the skills can work at any one time. So that's obviously a pretty big deal, because I was actually very much enjoying having the dodge skill, because it does then basically negate an entire hit, whereas Ignore Pain obviously just absorbs damage, which, while it has saved me quite a bit in the past from headshots and trolls hitting me over the head and everything, it is obviously a little bit of a different kind of ability. And while I would prefer, you know, to not take any damage whatsoever, I'd like to have both, you know, I'd like to have both of them working at once, but I would assume that the calculation to do that is actually kind of difficult, so maybe that's not working at the moment. But have we really just won? Wow. Right. So it appears the first initial bombardment that we had to eliminate the last remaining marksman and various other skeletal units was just what we needed to get to the, shall we say, well, easier to kill units. I'm not going to mince words here. Basically the fodder, kind of. And we were able to eliminate them all hand-to-hand with a primarily ranged army, with basically not losing that many at all. Look at that. Only 15 lost this time around. So it was a good idea for me to retreat in the previous round and then come back in. 266 eliminated there. And there were a couple of vassals here too. Do bear that in mind. Oh, hello. Hello, Aborash, Lord of Blood. He looks like Vlad. Don't you think he looks like Vlad? The face? Yeah, I think he does. Anyway, I'm actually going to let him go because he already has 26 relation with us, and I've been told that lords do defect from their factions. But I I haven't seen that happen yet, so I'm not entirely sure whether it's just because we're too early in the game so far, but I haven't seen any of the dwarves do that, and they've been eliminated, so yeah, maybe that's not happening, or maybe it's a different version or something like that. Anyway, we are going to let him go. We're going to gain some reputation. Yeah, that's also something else that I wanted to touch upon here. I think that maybe because we have a negative relation, technically we have a negative honor rating, that might be the reason why we are being declared war upon by so many different factions, because they are perceiving us as being a, shall we say, an untrustworthy individual, and that might actually be causing us to have all of these problems, all of these aggression problems, shall we say, when it comes to all of these factions. So maybe that's something to look at in future versions, perhaps. Who knows? I'm not entirely sure whether that's actually happening or not, but maybe it's registering me as having like minus 60 honor, and having minus 60 honor would probably count as me being some kind of brigand, you know. But yeah, bear in mind that I do have, I think it's about 50 or 60 right to rule now, so generally I should not have too many problems with other monarchs, but maybe that's just how it is now. Anyway, this is oh, okay, this is the new town. I actually think I'm going to take this for myself, because I think it's about time, don't you? I think it's about time. So let's do that. Got a whole bunch of villages as well, which is kind of nice. But the main problem that we're going to have here is that it's going to be difficult for us to well, recruit people. So I'm actually going to recruit some troops, recruit by caravan. We're going to do this, and we're going to... Oh, wow. I can only get these? Are you serious? That's pretty awful. Okay, I guess, you know what? I guess I'm just going to get Marauder Tribesman from Askraved. I think that's the... Oh, well, technically, this is the closest. So I guess we'll do that. Let's just get all 30. We don't have anyone in the garrison right now. You know what I should have done? I should have deferred appointment right now, and then I should have taken control over the town and gained some much needed cash, because I'm not doing particularly well when it comes to my weekly wages. I'm losing 12,000 now per week, so that is really bad. There's the orcs. They've taken that nearby town, which is definitely something I'm going to have to get on. So should we just take a look and see how many units they have there? And this has been besieged. Yeah, I don't really mind about that so much. Let's take a look here. Generally, what I would do is kind of ignore the orcs for the moment, because we are obviously on a mission at the moment to eliminate the vampires, and if I focus on too many different factions at once, it's just going to result in us having a pretty bad time of things. Anyway, 65. Yeah. 65, that's going to be super easy for me to take off screen. I'm not going to do that again, because we've already seen that multiple times. Anyway, what's this? 223, 419 units in the prisoner's hold there. That is pretty crazy. I'd love to be able to take this, but I think it's probably not going to work out. That's also been besieged. That's fine. Just bear in mind that every single one of these sieges is not really impacting us in any way whatsoever. If they decide to take these, they're going to garrison it with a very small garrison, and then we'll be able to take it back anyway. So it's going to be yeah, going to be pretty easy. And I can even auto-resolve those things as well. Basically what I can do is I can go back to my garrison. I can take a whole bunch of random units, and I'm talking seriously random here. I could just take some, you know, take some goblins, take some dwarves, and I could just go and auto-resolve with those units, and I don't even have to use my Skaven, because obviously, you know, technically, thematically, you know, if you want to be thematic about it, you can just say that we're using slaves to do the dirty work, basically, because obviously we don't want our prime globadiers and engineers to head in there and put themselves at risk in an auto-resolve situation. So if you want to go, you know, thematically, there you go. That's the explanation on that. Anyway, let's see if we can maybe do a little bit here with moving our globadiers a little bit closer. Same thing with our Jezzails as well. Have we already? We've already eliminated 63. That's pretty good. And it seems like enemies are starting to come in. I actually have 25 infantry. You know what? Let's just charge in. Let's just go straight up. Let's go for it. because we have a pretty significant army here, and there's only about 220 in the garrison to begin with. So I think we have more than enough chance to be able to take this in one fell swoop. I really do not want to retreat and come back in here. I feel like that's probably going to be a bad thing, because the vampires, I think they're pretty close by. I think the vassals are very, very close, so I would not like to deal with them any more than I have to. So we are going to take some pretty significant casualties here, but that is a price I am willing to pay. I am willing to pay that, because even though if we lose a whole bunch of Warplock engineers and Globadiers, it's not really going to make any difference, because we do have a whole bunch of them ready to level up, and they do level up pretty quickly, so I'm happy with that. And wow, there's actually a lot of them. There's actually a lot of enemies over here, so I'm going to have to get out my shield. And I think I'm going to die. I think I'm going to die here. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it. I'm going to say no. I was actually gonna bet money on that. I was gonna bet $2 that I was gonna die. Yeah, no, it apparently did not work. I was not that confident in my abilities. Ah, yes. Who did I get shot from? This guy? This guy over here? Maybe? Oh well, never mind. Your banner is silly. Your banner is silly. That's the best I could do. That's the best I could do. Alright, well, there you go. I think we're actually doing okay. I mean, generally I probably could just leave my forces just to fight along here, and they could probably eliminate most of the enemies in the garrison here. But do I want to do that? I don't know. I'd kind of like to be alive when they do this, but there is a reinforcement wave coming in as well. Oh well, never mind. I'm actually going to retreat here. And let's have a look. There's only 70. Yeah, that's going to be super easy to take in the next episode. We're also going to attempt to take the other 2 remaining castles, but bear in mind, they are siege towers, so it's going to be much, much more intense for us to build that, because obviously this territory being so small, the vampires are always a very quick little stone's throw away from us, and so we're going to have to be even more careful there. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.